Hey there, this is Red. It's time for another episode of Red Plays. All right, we are back with Scarlet Witch and Expert Rhino. So we were so close on our first go with Expert Rhino, but drew the wrong card at the wrong time there. So some people talk about how uh, Marvel Champions sometimes can be kind of it doesn't have a great end to it, but that one had excitement at the end there. I got the wrong card and it didn't play out well, which was great. That's fun. That's part of the fun of the game. So that's why I like the game. All right, so we're back solo again. We're going to take Rhino out. We got Scarlet Witch out. Rhino's got his 15 hit points. We've got the break-in out. Because we're starting with Rhino 2, breaking and taking is out, and it's high priority to get that out of there. So I think we're ready to go. So we're going to grab our 6 card. Let me give you the shuffle again real fast just to make sure. All right, and we're going to make sure we have our 5 cards over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3. Oh, nope. It should be 4. That's right. There's 4 in hers because she's got 2 obligations that go in there. So we're on track. Okay. So we need our 6 cards. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see what we come up with. All right. So we've got a Power of Justice, multitasking. So that could help us get rid of the breaking and taken. Spiritual meditation, 2 crisis averted, and a turn the tide. All right, so the problem with the crisis averted is that's a remove 6 threat from the main scheme. Holy cow, we don't need that at the start, so we're going to kick those 2 out. Multitasking only costs 1. We can multitask and turn the tide, which looks like a multitask is going to remove 2 threat. But with Wanda's thwart, we could get that out of there and use that to do some damage against Rhino. It doesn't put us in a spot to fend off an attack for a round, which would be nice, but I think we're good. All right, so we're going to draw 2 cards. We're going to get another multitasking and a Hex Bolt. Ooh, the Hex Bolt looks interesting. All right, so we've mulliganed, got our cards. I think we're ready to start. Now we can play our Spiritual Meditation. We're going to go ahead and use that, and that's going to allow us to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card from my hand. So we're going to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Ooh, and then I discard a card from my hand. So I'm not going to play 2 multitaskings. So I'm going to get rid of 1 of my multitaskings. All right. Now we've got some more interesting things going on here. We're going to go ahead and flip over to Scarlet Witch. So we've got the Scarlet Witch action going on now. Now, reminder, Scarlet Witch says when boost icons on an encounter card would be counted, discard the top card of the encounter card and count the number of boost icons on that card instead. I can do that once per phase. So that allows me to kind of get tricky with how I do my boost icons. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the Hex Bolt and see what that does for us. So we're going to use the Strength to play a Hex Bolt. And that's going to do... We're going to discard 3 cards from the encounter deck. For each card discarded this way, that boost icon, for each card discarded this way that has boost icons equal to, and we've got a list, we're going to do that thing. So we're going to get 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I did get 3. And we have no boost icons, which is 2 damage. We have 2 boost icons, which is draw a card. And we have no boost icons, which is 2 damage. I think we're just going to stick with that. So let's draw a card and then do 2 damage twice. All right. So let's get all this stuff out of the way. We get to draw a card and we're going to do 4 damage. Whoa, these are encounter cards. Okay, encounter cards in the right spot. My card's in the right spot. All right, so we're going to do 4 damage and draw a card. All right. Yes, that's what we're doing. And draw a card. And we get a magic shield. All right, now, let's see here. Turn the tide happens after your hero thwarts. So I think, should we do another Hex Bolt? So the things that we could do are we could do a multitasking. and then do a turn the tide when we use our thwart ability. The other thing that we could do is we could go for a hex bolt. If we hex bolt, we could try to get it to the point where we get a remove to threat, and then use our thwart to do turn the tide. That's kind of a tricky thing as to what we want to do there. So why don't we use our magic shield just in case to pay for our hex bolt, because I really want to make sure we get the breaking and taken out of there. So we're going to spend these 2 to pay for our hex bolt. All right, so we're going to do the same thing again where we're going to get 3 cards. Let's see what we come up with. So we get card number 1 is 1. There's the 2 threat from the scheme. That's what we wanted. There's a 2 damage and a remove 2 threat from a scheme. All right. Oh, that's a 2. That's a draw card. Ooh, that's even better. So I think we will just go with that the way it is. So we get deal 2 damage, remove 2 threat from a scheme, and draw a card. So we're going to take 2 threat off of a scheme, deal 2 damage. So he's going to go from 11 down to 9. And we still get to draw a card. This is a lot of fun. Yay for all the stuff Scarlet Witch gets to do. All right. And we get to draw a card. Boop. Oh, I'm a molecular decay. All right. Now, I think we're going to go ahead and thwart with Scarlet Witch for 2, because we really want to get that breaking and taken out of there. All right, breaking and taken is going to go away, and when breaking and taken goes away, I can say, after your hero thwarts and removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy. We're going to do 3 more to Rhino. So he's down to 6. All right, so we've done 9 and taken care of breaking and taken. And I think we're going to be done. All right, so we're going to draw. We're going to unexhaust. We're going to draw back up to 5. Problem is, we're going to take a beating this round. Ooh, we got our crest. And Agatha Harkness. Well, it might be a good round to take a beating, because we kind of want to start getting Agatha Harkness into play. That would be nice. All right, so we're done. We're going to go over Rhino's turn. So first thing, we're going to put a threat on the main scheme. Next part is Rhino is going to see Scarlet Witch out there, and he's going to come attack. Now, I do have 2 defense, or I can just take the attack. Let's see here. I think we're going to defend. So we're going to defend against Rhino's attack. He's attacking for 3. We're going to get some boost of 1. So we're going to take 2 damage. All right, so we take 2. All right, next up we're getting counter card. Counter card is hard to keep down. Rhino heals 4 damage. Oh, damn it. All that damage I did last turn is going away. So he's back up to 10. Well, not all the damage, but a lot of it. All right. There's a lot of evil he could have done that he didn't do, so we're okay with that. All right, so that is the end of the villain's turn. We're back over to the hero's turn. Now, we were thinking for this hero turn, we were going to do a lot of getting ourselves in order here. So I think we're going to use our multitasking and our heroic intuition to get our crest out there. Now that allows me to move the boost icons and counter card, exhausted, increase or decrease the number by 1. All right, so we get to bump it up or down 1. That's a nice card. And then we're going to get Agatha Harkness into play. So Agatha Harkness is alter ego. Exhaust Agatha Harkness. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Add 1 to your hand. Place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. All right, so she's going to help me filter my deck a little bit. Now, I think at this point we're going to go over to Wanda Maximoff. And we're going to trigger Agatha Harkness's ability. We're going to get 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. We're going to see which one we like. So we've got a Hex Bolt, Quicksilver, and an Energy. Wow, that's a tough choice. Okay, we're going to keep the Hex Bolt. Well, let's put the Hex Bolt on the bottom. We're going to keep the energy and see if we can do something fun next turn. I'm going to put these two down on the bottom. All right. Then we're going to be done. So we're going to unexhaust, unexhaust, and we're going to draw back up to 6. So the thought is I'm going to keep some extra energy out there because when I draw up to 6, hopefully I got lots of cool things that I can do. We'll see if that works out. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's happened to me again. All right, so I got my chaos magic again, which says play a card from my hand, ignoring the resource cost. Discard card from the encounter deck equal to the card's printed cost, and I have 2 double resources out there and things that cost 0. So, yeah, that's not exactly awesome. All right. Villain's turn. First thing, I'm going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Next thing is Rhino's going to scheme. He's scheming for 1. He's going to get a boost. He's going to boost for 2. I think, do I use my crest to modify that down? No, I think we're going to go ahead and let that happen. So he's going to scheme for 3. All right, so that's going to move him up to 5. So we're getting kind of close. All right, then we're going to draw an encounter card. Encounter card is Master Plan. Place 4 threat on each side scheme, which there aren't any out there. If there are no side schemes in play, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a side scheme is discarded, and then I reveal that side scheme. All right, so we're going to go digging for a side scheme. Because the deal is that Scarlet Witch does not go through the deck fast enough. Wow, okay, I found one. Right off the bat there, we got crowd control. So crowd control is, it's a crisis, and it's going to have 2 on it. So that one's not too bad. All right, 2. But we need to get threat off of that pretty quick. All right, so the villain's done. We're back over to the hero phase. Now, that is a lot of threat. So let's use Agatha Harkness first and see if we can come up with something to help with that. So I'm going to take 3 off of here. And we have a Swift Retribution, Order in Chaos, and the Power of Justice. None of those help me. Wow. All right. So we're going to take the Swift Retribution. I'm going to put these 2 at the bottom. All right. Then we're going to use Wanda Maximoff's ability to discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards. Let's see what we get. I got a Molecular Decay and a Hex Bolt. Okay. That's looking a little bit better. All right. Now, I'm going to flip on over to Scarlet Witch. All right, as Scarlet Witch, we could use Chaos Magic to play Molecular Decay. But that's going to take some off of Rhino. I could get card draws by using my Hex Bolt. So let's start with our Hex Bolt and see what that does for us. All right, so we're going to use our energy to cast a Hex Bolt. So we're going to get 3 encounter cards again and see what they do. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we get a 0, a 1, and a 1. So that would be 4 threat and 2 damage. I kind of like that. Let's see here. And does that get away? That doesn't get around the crowd control because the crowd control's got a crisis icon. It says when the scheme is in play, you cannot remove threat from the main scheme. So I have to start there. So I think that's what we will do. We will go ahead and start there. I could manipulate that up or down 1. Let's see here. I think, do I want to manipulate that up? I don't think so. I think we're going to do remove 2 threat, and then deal 2 damage to an enemy. All right. So we are going to remove 2 threat. Remove 2 threat. We're going to get rid of the crowd control. We're going to remove 2 threat from the break-in, and then we're going to deal 2 damage for Rhino, and he's down to 8. Unfortunately, that wasn't a thwart action, so Scarlet Witch can't fire off the Turn the Tide. We're going to go ahead and use our Chaos Magic to play Molecular Decay. So Chaos Magic says, play a card from your hand ignoring its resource cost. Discard cards from the deck to get icons. So we're going to do 5 plus 2 encounter cards worth of icons. All right. So we're going to get 2 encounter cards worth of icons. So 1 is doing 2, and that one's doing 0. So we're looking at 7 damage right now. Am I good with that? Oh, I can bump that. I could bump that up and take out Rhino. If I increase it by 1, I could take out Rhino. Or I could try kicking the advance. Yeah, we'll bump that up by 1. We're going to use our Scarlet Witch's Crest to increase the count by 1, so we do 8 damage. All right, that's going to take out Rhino. So 8 takes out Rhino. Rhino 3 is going to come into play, and he's going to have 16 hit points. So now that I took the hit points off, I have to put them back on. 16 hit points. 16 hit points. 16. And then he gets a tough, and I get stunned. Where we go? Tough and stunned. All right, that's not a great combo. That's okay, we can work with that. All right, next thing we're gonna do is, so I could thwart and take 2 off of there. That might be the smart thing to do because I'm gonna take a hit and probably need to go hero side. The other thing that I could do is ping the toughness off of him. Well, I can't because I'd be stunned. I could get rid of my stun. I think we're gonna use the 2 thwart. We're gonna thwart for 2 off of the break-in. All right, then we're going to be done. Now we have 2 Turn the Tides. I think we're going to hold on to those and our Genius here and see if we can do something amazing next turn. Probably not, but we'll try. All right, so we're going to ready all of our cards up. We're going to draw back up to 5, which means we get to draw 2 cards. So we can get a Molecular Decay and a Spiritual Meditation. All right, villain's turn. I'm going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino's going to see Scarlet Witch out there, and he's going to come to attack. He's attacking for 4. We're just going to take this attack. So he's got 4. I'm going to flip a card, and he's going to get 3, so that would be 7. I think this is a very good time to use Scarlet Witch's ability, which says when boost icons from an encounter card would be encountered, discard the top card of the encounter deck and count that number of boost icons on that card instead. So instead of a boost of 3, we're going to use a boost of 1. So I like that much better. He's still going to hit me for 5, which is a lot. All right. So we're down to 7, and I've used my ability, so that's done. All right, we're going to draw a card. Our encounter card is Advance. Oh, he's going to scheme. All right, so normally he schemes for 1. He's going to boost 2 more. So he's scheming for 3 right now. Is there anything I can do about that? Well, I can use my crest and knock that down. We're going to have him scheme for 2 instead, because I can knock it down by 1. All right. So that's the end of Rhino's turn. Unfortunately, my crest is exhausted. All right. Well, that was my plan there, was to use Scarlet Witch to do the break-in, and then I was going to get rid of my stun with the Turn the Tide, but that all essentially went to crap. So, okay, so how are we going to do this? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our Spiritual Meditation, which is going to let me draw 2 cards, and then I have to get rid of 1. Ooh, we got Speed, and we have a Magical Shield. All right, I need to get rid of a card. I think I'm going to get rid of one of my Turn the Tides because I'm not going to be able to pull them out this turn. All right. I think speed would be the best one to get into play right now because he can thwart for 2. Because I'm going to need to go into alter ego form in order to do some resting. So I think that's where we're at. And the question is going to be, what do I hold on to? Do I hold on to the Turn the Tide? Well, I could use the Turn the Tide to get rid of my stun, right? I think so. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to bring speed into play. All right, so we've got a after speed thwarts, ready him, limit once per round. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to use speed is going to thwart for 2. And then he takes 1 consequential damage for doing that. All right, then he gets to ready up. So that's good as a hero action. I am going to thwart with Scarlet Witch for 2. All right, so that's going to clear off the break-in. I'm going to try to play a Turn the Tide, which is a response. So after your hero thwarts, removes all threat from a scheme, deal 3 damage to an enemy, but I can't because I'm stunned. So my stun is going to go away because it counters that attack and replaces it. All right, next up, we're going to have speed attack for 1 and ping that off of Rhino. He's going to take another consequential damage, so he's at 2. We're going to flip over to Wanda Maximoff, and we're going to use Agatha Harkness to take a look at the top 3 cards and figure out which one we want. So we've got a Crisis Averted. A Warp Reality would be really nice. I think we're going to hold on to that and put the other 2 at the bottom. All right. All right, so we are done at this point in time. And we used our Agatha Harkness, but now we're going to clean all of our tokens up. We're going to ready up. And we're going to draw back up to a hand size of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Villain's turn. First thing, we're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Next up, villain is going to see Wanda out there, so he's going to scheme. He's going to scheme for 1. He's going to get a boost of 1. So we're going to let that go. He's going to scheme for 2. Yep. All right. Next up, we're going to get an encounter card. Counter card is Stampede, which an alter ego would gain surge. So I'm going to do a warped reality on that. So when an encounter card is revealed from the encounter deck, cancel all of its effects and discard it. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck equal to the number of boost icons on that card. And I'm going to use my heroic intuition to pay for that. So we're going to cancel that, and it had 1 boost icon. So we're going to get rid of 1 card from the top of the encounter deck. All right. Which was Shadows of the Past. Oh, darn. So sad to get that one out of there. All right, so that's the end of the villain's turn. We're over to the hero's turn. Okay, so we're going to start off with our spiritual meditation. We're going to draw 2, and we have to discard a card. So we have a Hex Bolt and Quicksilver. Ooh, which card do we get rid of at that point? I think we're going to get rid of our Swift Retribution. All right, we're going to make use of Agatha Harkness to look at 3. 1, 2, 3. Pick 1. And then put the other at the bottom. We're going to take this one, these other 2 at the bottom. All right. So next off, so I think we're going to be playing Wiccan. And I think we'll be doing a Hex Bolt. So let's see here. Where do we want to start here? I think the first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and we're going to flip over to Scarlet Witch. All right, I think we're going to do our Hex Bolt first. Let's start with the Hex Bolt. So we're going to spend 2 to play Hex Bolt. We do a lot of these Hex Bolts. There's a lot in the deck. All right, we're going to get 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I'm kind of glad I buried that because it's nice to be able to use it later. All right, so we get 1. We get 1, and we get 2. All right, so that's a draw card. I think what I would like to do is mutate that into a stun on Rhino. But then the other 2 are remove 2 threat from a scheme, which doesn't do me a whole lot of good. So I can manipulate one of those. I could force a redraw on one of those cards. Let's do that. We're going to use Scarlet Witch's power to force a new card for the false alarm. And we'll probably get another one again. Yep, we did. All right, so we've got 2 1s and a 2. Let's go ahead and we will use Scarlet Witch's crest to make that 2 into a 3. All right, so when we do that, we will have 2 1s and a 3. So that's going to be 2 remove 2 threats, and then the 3 is going to allow me to put a status card somewhere. I guess the other thing is I could put toughness on myself. Maybe that's the better thing to do, is I can put toughness on. That might be better than stunning Rhino. Yeah, we'll think we'll do that. Let's make Scarlet Witch tough. All right, and then we get to remove a bunch of threat. All right, we're going to use our Power of Justice to play Wiccan. So when Wiccan thwarts, I get to potentially do damage, which isn't going to help me this round. I think we're going to go ahead and attack with both of these folks here. We'll do a couple of attacks. So we're going to do 1 and 1. And then we might as well have Scarlet Witch attack. So we're going to do 3 attacks. 1, 2, 3. We're going to knock him down to 13. All right, so then we've got to work on our damage here because we've got some consequential damage going on. Wiccan's got 1, speeds up to 3, and Scarlet Witch takes no consequential damage from attacking. All right, we can get rid of our tokens because we're readying up, and we're going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3. He gets another encounter card. That's a little bit scary. We're almost to the bottom of his encounter deck. I'm kind of surprised we haven't gone through it all the way. But I'm also kind of happy I went through my deck because I want some of those damage cards back. A couple of molecular decays would be excellent right about now. All right. We done shuffling? I think I'm about done shuffling. One more, a couple more, maybe just another little shuffle. All right. Got this new smoker. My wife is smoking a brisket right outside the window over there. Every time the door opens and she kind of comes back and forth, it smells fantastic. So, good stuff. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Let's see what we come up with here. We've got a Magic Shield, Crisis Averted, and Spiritual Meditation. Yeah, that's exactly the offensive cards I was looking for. Okay. Problem with the pre-constructed deck. All right. Villain's turn. We're going to go over to the villain. We're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to see Scarlet Witch over here. And the question is, do I put speed in front of this or do I take the hit with tough? I think I'm going to take the hit with tough. So he's attacking for 4. We're just taking the hit. He's going to hit me for 5, 6. So he hits me for 6 damage. Tough absorbs all of that and my tough goes away. All right, so we got an encounter card. We get another encounter card. All right, encounter card number 1 is Under Fire. When revealed, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. Oh, so we're going to get 2 more cards. All right, 1, 2. Eesh. Okay. That would have been a nice one to stop. We don't have anything to stop that. All right. I got excited for a second. I'm like, oh, I've got Order and Chaos, and it's not Quicksilver, it's Speed. Dang it. So close. So close. All right, counter card number 1 is I'm tough. All right, so you get tough status card. Card number 2 is Charge. Uh-oh. All right, so maybe I should have held on and put Speed in front of the last one. And now we get a Hydra Bomber. All right, choose either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. We're going to put a threat on the main scheme. All right, so it's up to 2. All right, that did not go well. I was thinking I had things a little bit under control, and now they are fairly out of control. Okay, so where are we going with all this at this point? All right, start off on our turn. We're going to use our spiritual meditation. Let's get 2 cards, and we're going to have to discard a card. So molecular decay and multitasking. Okay. You have to get rid of a card. Crisis averted is going away. All right, so now what we can look at is potentially we can ping that tough off of Rhino. We could, Scarlet Witch needs to rest. I really need to get her a little bit of nap time there. The charge looks pretty big, so we're going to be taken around where I'm down. We want Wiccan to thwart. We could use Speed to ping the toughness off of Rhino. I think that's where we're going to start at. So we're going to start with Speed, pinging the toughness off of Rhino. So the tough is going to go away, and Speed is going to go away because he's going to take his 4th consequential damage. All right. Next up, we're going to have Wiccan. He's going to thwart. So he's going to thwart for 1. It's going to go down 1. And now I'm going to flip a card. And the number of icons is how much damage I do to an enemy. And it's a big 0. That's not how that was supposed to go. Let's use Scarlet Witch's ability to enhance that. So I need to draw another card from the encounter deck. So we're going to shuffle it up because it ran out. And we get an acceleration token. All right, so we're at 0 right now. Let's put that out there for good measure. And I think we're going to use Scarlet Witch's ability to change that up. Because there's so many 2s and 3s in here, I should be able to pull some damage out of there. All right, let's see what we get. Come on, good card. So we're replacing that one. We're using Scarlet Witch's ability, and instead we're going to get 3. That's what we wanted. 3 damage. All right, so he's down to 10. All right, we use Scarlet Witch's ability that round. Wiccan's exhausted. Next up, we're going to throw a molecular decay. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3 cards to do our molecular decay. So that's going to do 5, right? Deal 5 damage to an enemy. Discard the top 2 cards from the encounter deck. All right, so we're going to discard the top 2 cards from the encounter deck, and we're going to get 5 plus 2 cards. So 5 plus none plus none. Oh, that's not how that was supposed to go. All right. So I knock him down 5. I could boost it by 1. Might as well, because I'm not going to do anything else this turn. So we'll go ahead and boost that by 1. And so we're going to do 6 damage to him, so he's down to 4. All right. We're going to flip over to Wanda Maximoff. I think. Do I pull the rest? I don't think we're worried about resting, because we're going to hope to take him out next turn. What we need to be worried about is the threat. So I'm going to use my thwart ability to get that one threat off of there. Then we're going to flip over to Wanda Maximoff. All right. Next up, we will use Agatha Harkness to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, and we get a Hex Bolt and 2 multitaskings. So, do I take the Hex Bolt? I think I take the Hex Bolt and put these multitaskings on the bottom. All right. And then we're done. So we're going to unexhaust all of our things. We're going to draw back up to a hand size of 6. I could have played the Magic Shield using the Hex Bolt, but I think it's going to come down to this last round here. So I'm going to get rid of my Magic Shield because I don't think the defense is going to come into play. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let's see how this works out here. I don't have any direct damage because I would have to get zeros on my Hex Bolts in order to do damage. All right, so villain's turn. We're going to put, we got a boost there, so we're going to put 2 threat on the main scheme. And it's a little bit scary. Rhino's going to scheme. He's scheming for 1, and he's going to boost 1. So that's 2. I think we're going to go ahead and let that go. And the Hydra Bomber's going to scheme for 1. All right, so we're at 5. That's scary. All right, we're going to draw a counter card. Counter card is Explosion. It's going to surge because that doesn't matter. We're going to surge into a Hydra Mercenary. Oh, he's got guard. Damn it. Okay. That wasn't part of the plan either, with somebody coming out with guard on him. All right, so that is the end of the villain's turn, and we're over to the hero's turn. Okay. Let's see what we've got going on here. So we can use Agatha Harkness. We've got Spiritual Meditation. Let's use that first. So that's going to get me 2 cards. I'm going to have to discard a card. So we've got a Magic Shield and a Crisis Averted. So let's go ahead and... So I could do that along with a Turn the Tide. If I did the Crisis Averted, so there's that with a Turn the Tide, could potentially take, I can't quite take out Rhino. Wiccan would need to do a point of damage. Or I could do that and remove from the Hydra Mercenary, but then I would be counting on my Hex Bolt potentially to do the damage. Wow. Which way to go with all of this? Or I could just work on doing Hex Bolts, and hopefully the Hex Bolts do the job. Odds are that the Hex Bolts can probably do the job. So we're going to get rid of the Crisis Averted. That's the card we're going to get rid of. We're going to use Agatha Harkness to draw 3 and pick 1. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to pick 1. I guess we'll pick the Warp Reality. I don't know that it matters a whole lot because of those cards. There's nothing that's all that awesome. We're putting 2 Heroic Intuitions on the bottom. They're not going to do much for us. All right, so we've used Agatha. We could use our discard 2 cards and draw 2 cards, which I think we're going to do. We're going to get rid of Wanda and the Magic Shield. We're going to draw 2 cards. So 1, 2. All right, so it looks like it really wants us to Hex Bolt at this point in time. Let's do a Spiritual Meditation. Draw 2 cards. Oh, there we go. Oh, and I have to get rid of 1. So I can go through 3 hex bolts. That's 3 hex bolts, right? I have to get rid of 1 card, or I could hex bolt and try to pull off the molecular decay. I think we're going to get rid of the molecular decay, and we're going to try to do this with hex bolts. All right, let's see if we're feeling lucky here. We're going to go on over to Scarlet Witch at this point in time. All right, we should be able to get this. We need to get some zeros, so we're going to start off with hex bolt number 1. So we're going to get 3 cards. So hex bolt number 1, 3 encounter cards. We get a 1, a 2, and a 2. So what's that do for us? That does 2 draw cards and 1 remove 2 threat from a scheme. All right. Do I want to modify that? I could modify that down. Yeah, we're going to modify that down 1. So we're going to do a 1, deal 2 damage to an enemy, and 2 draw cards. All right, so 1, deal 2 damage to an enemy, ching, and 2 draw cards. We have a genius and a power of justice. All right. Whoop. We're slotting them up. We're getting the hex bolts going. All right, so next up, we're going to hex bolt yet again. So another hex bolt. There we go. We need 3 encounter cards. 1, 2, 3. All right. And we've already used our crest because we modified that by 1. All right, so we got that's what we need right there. There's a 0, a remove 2 threat from a scheme, and another 0. All right, we got him at this point because that gives us 2, deal 2 damages, and 1, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we're going to remove 3 threat from a street, 2 threat from a scheme, and we're going to do 2 sets of 2 damage, which is enough to take out Rhino. That's nice because those aren't attacks. Not attacks. Just deal 2 damage to an enemy. So right around that Hydra Mercenary. Awesome. I still had another Hex Bolt. I could have potentially pulled a Turn the Tide also. So, yeah, that's Scarlet Witch taking out Expert Rhino. She did so pretty well. I was sitting there with 7 damage on me for quite a while, so that charge was pretty scary. Had he gotten an attack off, I would have been in dire straits, but managed to keep the alter ego stuff going right. At that point in time, I could have thrown a stun in there. Maybe he would have got something to allow him to attack again. That would have been really bad. Like a gang up would have been quite painful. But I could have thrown it. I would have probably put a toughness on myself, so that way when he charged and attacked, it would have all just went poof. But yeah, Scarlet Witch is looking really good. So that's 1 loss against Expert Rhino, 1 win against Expert Rhino with the pre-constructed deck. So the next question is going to be, where do we go from here? So I think I'm going to try to build a deck, which I am just awful at, but I'm going to try to build a deck and then go against one of the other villains that's out there. Maybe I should go back up against Crossbones because I did so badly against him with Quicksilver. Maybe Scarlet Witch has got the right stuff to take him out. We do seem to have a lot more variety of icons in there to try to take things out. And with the Justice, she's got some delaying tactics. Maybe that would work out better. So I don't know. We'll have to see where we go next. But it's definitely going to be Scarlet Witch, and I'm definitely going to customize the deck. I don't know if I'm going to use Justice or use something else. So that's another TBD. So maybe you got some recommendations you can throw in the comments there about which aspect you would like to see paired with Scarlet Witch. I guess one of the things to think about is Scarlet Witch with aggression probably deals a lot of damage really fast. That's just a guess because she deals some pretty good damage by herself. I don't know if you throw aggression in there, I think it might get kind of crazy. But she's looking pretty good. So I was thinking she was a middling type hero, but she's starting to edge her way up in my mind. Would be interested to see how she, like people's opinions on how she plays in multiplayer, because I don't play a whole lot of multiplayer. Digging through that encounter deck might be a bigger deal in multiplayer games where you're going to be getting those uh, icons out there, those acceleration tokens, and be kind of pushing through the villain a lot faster, I think might be a bad deal. So it's kind of interesting because you got Quicksilver that does lots and lots of attacks, and you got Scarlet Witch that just burns through the encounter deck. So there's a whole lot of action in these latest 2 hero packs that came out. So all right, let me know if I missed anything. Let me know what aspect you think I should play Scarlet Witch with next, because I'm not too sure on that one. And I'm not playing Leadership and Allies. That's not happening. So don't even suggest that one. But other than that, I would be willing to try anything else. So, all right, that's it for now. And thanks for watching.